Hi, I'm Duncan, and welcome to my latest YouTube channel feature. I haven't done anything for quite a while. I haven't been very well, but I'm feeling much better now. And this new feature is dedicated to Lynne of the Electric Light Orchestra. Um, I have a great affection for the E.L.O. I was at school while most of their hits were going on. Um, I know that before Jeff got very involved with the Electric Light Orchestra, the legendary Roy Wood had been doing a lot of work with them. And I don't know any of Roy's work at all, but I do respect him as a solo artist and also uh, the leader of the Move and Wizard. Um, I think my first I know that they had a big hit with Roll Over Beethoven in 1973 and were quite a caused a sensation on Top of the Pops. But don't remember that. I really first, I think, got into them with Evil Woman in the early part of 1976. I thought Evil Woman was just a fantastic record, and later on that year they had their album, New World Record, and the first single, Living Thing, which was followed very soon by Rocaria and Telephone Line in 1977. They then did oh blimey, Out of the Blue. That was it, with their first single in the later part of '77, which was Turn to Stone, and then through '78 it was the wonderful Mr. Blue Sky, which was my first E.L.O. single that I went out and bought. And in a moment of madness, I sold it for something, for some reason, or swapped it. One of the stupidest things I've ever done in my life. The wonderful Wild West Hero, which is so atmospheric, you could almost smell the cattle and the plains. And then the last single from the album, which I bought in autumn 1978, which was Sweet Talking Woman. Bought it from a little shop uh, in Wimbledon on my way home from school, because I'm one of these poor so-and-sos who went to school on Saturday. And if you had an extra 10 pence, you could buy a Sweet Talking Woman on purple vinyl, which I did. I don't know how much worse it was from rather than getting the black vinyl, but uh, I, I I thought it was a nice thing to have at the time. They were basically having hits right through my school year, and until after I'd left school, still having hits. But they Discovery was their next album, which did well. Xanadu they got involved with. My greatest hits of Electric Light Orchestra doesn't have Olivia Newton-John singing. Her voice is not on the track, although it seems to be the same track. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. Very maybe contract reasons. And then I think they had 1981. They were still having hits. Hold on tight, which I can't remember what the album was from, but here we have Hold On Tight. It's got the famous uh, Jet label and the E.L.O. signature. And I think that was one of their last big hits was in '83, which was "Long Live Rock and Roll." I think it was. Now, what the E.L.O. did, their first three albums hadn't sold particularly well. They didn't make them famous. So when they started having hits, thinking that probably correctly, that the single purchasers, basically young people, school children, or people who hadn't got into the band in the early days. So what they would do is they would take a single from a track from the new album, release it as a single, but for a B-side, they wouldn't take it from the album, or they wouldn't record it, a brand new song, just to go on the B-side. They took one of the songs from one of the earlier albums. They did, I think Bluebird is Dead is on the B-side of Sweet Talking Woman. But it worked, and it's fair enough. It kept let people hear a little bit of the history of the band. It's an unusual way to use the B-side, but not ineffective. Now, I've no, I don't profess to have any of their albums. I don't profess um, um, to be a connoisseur of the band. I know one other member of the band was called Violinsky, did the clog dance, but just one of these bands that you loved during the time you had. They were on the radio all the time, bit like say ABBA, Paul McCartney and Wings, Shawaddy Waddy, right through pretty much your school, 6 or 7 years of school, they were there. And I absolutely am disgusted by this thing that people are saying that E.L.O. were a copy of the Beatles and ripped off guitar riffs and stuff. I think it's absolute baloney. They were a band who make no secret of the fact they were very, very greatly influenced by the Beatles, and Jeff Lynne was quite happy when he heard John Lennon say that had the Beatles will still be going, they would have sounded like the E.L.O. And I do know that all around the world, it's one of John Lennon's favourite songs. It was a hit for the E.L.O. in 1980. So I'm not an expert on the band. I bought a number of their singles during their time and their greatest hits. So I wouldn't call myself the most die-hard fan, but I do like them. And of course, we've got the Jeff had recently got this. It's supposed to be to celebrate 30 years of the Travelling Wilburys. Of course, Jeff was one of the band. He formed a friendship with George Harrison, and then it's just a fun without the. There's the one side of the album. It's the logo. And the other side is the boys. And of course, the first album sold very well, and very sadly, a few weeks after the record was released, Roy Orbison died, and for a while it looked like there wouldn't be another Wilbury album, but there was volume 3. And that was also not as successful as the first album, but still sold well. They wanted to have more albums, but it was very hard getting hold of Bob Dylan. There were at the time a lot of the Wilburys all released albums with featuring other members of the Wilburys, and Jeff Lynne released Armchair Theatre, which was that was in 1990, and that was a lovely album. It didn't sell as well as the other Wilbury related albums from the others, which I think was a bit cruel, because it was a wonderful album. But the song that I really love is "Lift Me Up," which has the most fantastic slide guitar solo from George Harrison. Know that Jeff has brought the E.L.O. back during over the years, and had a couple more solo albums, and was going to be having a farewell concert a couple of days ago. This is early July, nearly mid-July 2025, but has had to call the concert off. We don't know why, and I'm not going to even suggest, but whatever the reason, we hope very much that Jeff, we will listen to your music for years to come. We hope very much that you'll be creative, and carry on being creative in the field of music. But whatever happens, just pray that you're going to be happy with your friends and family. We wish you the very best. And really, it should by now be Sir Jeff Lynne. I thought it was, but one of my friends has corrected me and said, no, not yet. But it can only be a matter of time. Yeah, and it would sound really good, Sir Jeff Lynne. So all the best, and thank you for providing us with so much enjoyment. God bless. If you like this feature, then please tick the like button. If you've never been here before and you like what you've heard, then please tick what's that button? Oh, the button. I can't even remember what it is. Sorry, it's been a long day in the heat. You know the button I mean. And just share. That would be really lovely. So it's nice to be back, and I'll see you folks soon. God bless.